Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today. In this webcast, we are going to discuss about effectively managing stocks at risk. My name is Nandakumar Nayanandurai, and I'm a data engineering consultant with Thorogood. I've been working with Thorogood for a number of years on enterprise BA strategies and application implementation. Today, I'm joining this webcast from the UK, which is where Thorogood is currently headquartered at. Also, I have included my email and LinkedIn on the screen. So if you have any questions after the event that you want to reach out to, certainly feel free. So today's agenda is very simple. I'll give a brief introduction to Thorogood and talk a little bit about our experience in data engineering and data science and who we work with. Then I will get straight into talking you through a customer case study from a recent project that we did. And finally, I will touch briefly on how you can get started on a similar journey. We're going to start off by just saying a little bit about Thorogood. So for those of you who have not worked with us, we are an independent global professional services firm, and we specialize in data engineering, data science strategies, solutions, and services. We have been doing this for a little over 30 years now, and we are a global company with offices in London, Boston, Philadelphia, Sao Paulo, Singapore, and Bangalore, India. We offer full range of data services, data engineering, data science, and data visualizations, but also things like strategies and roadmaps, as well as end-to-end solutions from requirements through to implementation. We also do user training, user adoption, and application support and maintenance services. We are an independent consultancy. In that, we mean that we work with a range of different technology partners, and our consultants are knowledgeable and experienced in a wide breadth of technologies, and really the way those technologies can be integrated successfully. I've listed some of our partnerships here, including backend, front-end, and some analytics-driven technologies. If you do have any questions about the offerings of any specific vendors, feel free to reach out and we can do some follow-up sessions or more in-depth conversations on those. So without further ado, let's get straight into talking through this customer case study on effectively managing stocks at risk. So if you take a step back, for any company that manufactures perishable products, expiration dates are the looming menace. But in the modern digital transformation landscape, firms have the potential to tackle the problem like never before. Recently, we partnered with a leading pharmaceutical company on an innovative analytics solution that shows just how much value firms can realize with a technology-forward approach to the problem. The customer in question is a global pharmaceutical company with a product subset that has high value, low value products and high and low shelf life products as well. It operates in approximately 100 plus markets, each with having their own ways of operating and connected to the global supply chain, the backbone of the company. Some markets are pretty straightforward, so the focus is on reducing write-offs, whereas in others, there is still better planning that can be done by the planners if they have a better view of how things are structured. Given the recent outbreak, this industry has become even more important than ever, and there is constant innovation taking place in this company and almost every other competitor in this industry. Each year, manufacturers lose billions of dollars on inventory that expires before it reaches consumers. According to a recent analysis published by Management Science, it is estimated that consumer packaged goods firms lose 1 to 2% of gross retail sales each year on expired inventory. In the pharmaceutical industry, the challenge is even more daunting. Now let's look to define the customer's problem. So the underlying problem statement in a nutshell is to identify the stocks and get to the batch level information and identify the batches that are at the risk of becoming obsolete due to a number of reasons. A few might be either the products are close to the expiry date and can't be sold anymore, or products that do not have the necessary demand for the foreseeable future, or there is a gap between when the products were received in warehouses and their saleable dates. This scenario is probably typical of many global consumer goods companies as well, especially with products that have less shelf life, and that leads to an urge to act on them at a very high level and also at a global level. A global view is very important to be able to project demand, plan supply, and take necessary actions like shuffling the products between multiple markets and warehouses. In this case, there are a few local reporting applications in place for some markets, but these rely heavily on manual collation of local data, so they are time intensive and are prone to human errors. The overall business objective is to reduce the write-off amounts and ensure that any stocks that are at the risk of becoming obsolete or being handled in the most appropriate way. Now, to handle this problem, we need to understand the most fundamental variables for each of the product or batches that play a role in identifying the calculation of stocks or batches that are at the risk. First, we need to get a view of the stocks that are currently on hand with the manufacturer or in the warehouses. Secondly, any in-transit stocks that are either shipped or expected to be shipped based on the orders from warehouses that have been already placed with the manufacturer. And then finally, the view on demand forecast for the next 3 to 4 years from the planning system like SAP is used to understand how the current stocks will be used up against the demand. And if all of the batches will be used up before the expiry date or saleable date is then calculated. Combining all these variables at a batch level would help us calculate the stock at risk and also provide us a holistic view of the number of batches that might be at risk, what value is currently logged in those batches, and what kind of actions need to be taken to mitigate the risks that are associated with those batches. So this holistic view would help the planners to make adjustments to their current plan and any of the existing order books to ensure that the risk is mitigated appropriately. So how did we do it? We have been specializing in data engineering and analytics for many years, and therefore know that most successful applications are ones that focus on the business goals and then use technology as an enabler to unlock the opportunities. This is exactly the approach we took here. Rather than treating it as an IT exercise, we made sure that we understood what the business was trying to achieve here. And in order to do that, we brought our experience of similar projects as a starting point and took time to understand the business interaction required and the data being provided in order to design a flexible data model that could be used as a foundation for global and local reporting. Understanding what the business was trying to achieve wasn't just focused on one specific use case or reporting need. We brought our experience of what an overall vision could look like to ensure the conversations were wide enough in scope. Our analytic delivery model focuses on business priorities and providing frequent and incremental value through continuous delivery. As already described, combining business focus and technical expertise means that the art of the possible can be framed. In terms of delivery, we take the best from the agile methodology, such as iteration and delivering early value, while negating those components that can have undesirable cost impacts, such as fully allocated team members. Our combined approach works well and is proven over many years. And finally, we leverage DevOps tool capabilities such as continuous integration and continuous delivery and automated testing as much as possible. And a really important point here is that our overall design is very much focused on responsible cloud consumption. In this scenario, the data volumes are such that it's vital that consumption implications are built into the design to not add any unreasonable overhead consumption costs to the final product. This slide basically depicts a very high level view of the project in terms of timelines, mandates, and agile approach. Once the project was in flight, we utilized our leverage model using a small team of consultants from the UK and India to provide fast and cost-effective agile development. This team brought extensive experience of working with the customer in question and working with supply chain data in general. As you can see from the slide, the bulk of the development work was during a 4-month period from September to December. We worked very closely with the business contacts, including regular catch-ups, particularly at the early stages of the project, to ensure that any business or data-related queries were resolved very quickly. The overall architecture looks like this. The numerous data sources are placed into a landing zone, and we are using Azure Data Factory, Azure Data Lake Store, and Azure Databricks to ingest, store, and curate the data. We have created a semantic model which structures the data in order to facilitate a multitude of reporting and analysis requirements while maintaining simplicity. We very much subscribe to the approach advocated by Einstein. Everything should be made as simple as possible, but no simpler. The planners are provided access to the Power BI reports for them to do the required analysis. Another interesting approach we took in this architecture was the ability for the planners to add comments and root cause analysis so that they are one, captured within the system for planners to revisit again, and two, to potentially act on the next steps from within the reporting layer itself. So we used Power Apps to deliver this capability. For example, one use case is directly able to update the plan details from within the tool itself. In other words, this is an emerging concept of automating the common manual task, which is now widely known as RPA, robotic process automation. So what were the key challenges we faced in delivering this system? As I mentioned previously, we have vast experience of working with data engineering problems, and so we are fully aware of issues and approaches to take. I'm showing here some of the fundamental things to look out for, and each of these challenges were encountered during this project. The focus on ensuring it is a business-led initiative and the regular catch-ups at the start of the project meant that we were very quickly able to agree on suitable approaches for issues such as how to handle missing data. Other specific challenges we faced with were ensuring that the visualization of hierarchies were simplified across market, product, and time, capturing cost information for products in a way that made sense across all views, given the sensitivity nature of it across the company, consolidating different units of measure into a single one in a way that was understandable and provided useful views. And finally, from an approach point of view, all parties recognized at the start that the end product would be a massive system in terms of scope and markets. So the plan took into account that it would need time to stabilize. So we planned the rollout with a technical go live first, followed by a business go live. So what started as an initiative for stock at risk KPIs has resulted in a concrete base for something more substantial on analytics that has been delivered with a minimal disruption and at a reasonable cost. This solution enables them, the customer, to inform its high-level business decisions quickly and automatically at both the global and local level. We have also been working with various business functions to enable them to leverage the investment that has been made to automate and enhance existing reporting, which was previously done manually. And now we are talking to the customer about using this data source for data science purposes and also for expanding it to the financial reporting purposes as well, and many other analysis opportunities that can now be realized. As a summary, I would just like to share some key takeaways. To deliver a powerful global view of stocks at risk and combining data from multiple sources for each market can seem very daunting. Daunting from a number of aspects. Can it actually be achieved? Will it take a very long time? Will it cost a fortune? My advice would be to not hesitate or put it off. Just do it. Ensure that it is led by the business as they are the ultimate users of the data, and then use specialists who understand the challenges and nuances of working with the data. And also you have to do it quickly, but make sure that it is done in a well enough manner and do it on the cloud to eliminate any potential delays with infrastructure and to be able to expand the scope easily. And finally, focus on the business goals, but really make sure you concentrate on the data validation, storage, and structure to support those goals. If you do have any questions or want a discussion on anything that have been covered today, then please feel free to contact me. That concludes today's webcast, and thank you all again for taking the time to attend.